Hi, everybody. All right, I'm going to wait for some people to get here. I made a video this morning saying I was going to go live at 2. Shut the TV off. Somebody's here. Who's here? Say hi. Okay. Well, I guess I'll start. Wait for people to come in. We didn't get as much snow last night as what the weather said we were going to get. We only got like an inch of snow. I'm kind of disappointed because I like snow. And well, oh, there we go. Now people are coming. So yeah, it's like a calm after the storm. It's blue skies and sunshine out there, but it's like 20 degrees. It's freezing cold. And I just ran to the store and brr. So who's here? Hey, there's Liz. Hey. Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna start. And I wanted to talk about self-medication. And I want to talk about my DID today. I wasn't going to. I was thinking, hey girl, I was thinking, like, what am I going to talk about? And I went back and forth. And so I thought, a lot of us, we self-medicate. We don't even realize that we have mental health issues. And so I thought, my new subscribers, the new channel, I haven't talked about my DID much. Like I've mentioned it in my other channel. My alters made videos, and I was really open about my DID. I suffered some flack for it, and but I'm not gonna allow people to judge me and all that stuff. Hey, not into that. So, well, all right. So what I'm gonna start saying is like, Lives, about my DID. I told you about it before I even mentioned it on my channel. I don't tell many people, but I did tell you. You and I were talking quite often, and I told Nicole, and because it's really hard to talk about things like that with people because people have opinions. Even the medical field has their opinions. And, some believe it's a real disorder and some people don't. But here's the thing, like, I don't think that I'm qualified to say something's not real. I used to say that I didn't think that ADD was real. Like, I didn't think that a child could have it. I thought it was just an excuse that people used for not disciplining their children. And here's the thing, like that, how judgmental is that? Because here I am, I didn't go to medical school. I don't know, I asked from a hole in the ground, but yet I'm saying that a mental disorder doesn't exist because I think so, you know? Um, and so I don't think that we should judge each other. Like schizophrenia, people that have schizophrenia, I did. People that have schizophrenia hallucinate. Should I say that I don't believe they're hallucinating. I don't believe that's real. They're just trying to get attention. I'm not qualified to do that. But anyway, I'm going to talk about my DID. I'm going to talk about how it presented, and just kind of go from there. And so if you have any questions, and you just ask them, and I'll try to answer them. And so, as you guys know, when I was a child, I was severely abused, and it was too much for my brain to handle at the time. And so our brains are wonderful things. They adapt and they overcome. My brain split. I can remember it happening. This one time, I was really little, and I'm thinking around 4, somewhere around there. And I was being sexually abused, and I was in the cellar laying on a mat. And next to the wall, next to me was a stone wall, because our house was old and it had an old stone basement. And so when it was happening, I remember turning my head to the side, looking at that wall, and I put my little hand up on that cool wall, and I just was gone. I remember that specifically. It was too much for my brain to handle, so I left. And so there were really no signs of it throughout my life. But I know that I had a voice, and her name was Jenny, and she helped me get through situations in life. And but I just thought everybody had that. I just thought everybody had this voice inside of their head that helped them in situations. Intuition or whatever. But mine had a name, and her name was Jenny. And I could see even what she looked like in my head. It, you know, and so when I had ovarian cancer in 2001, and I had chemo and surgery, it was quite a traumatic event. And not too long after that, the first incident happened. I had my checking account, I had a bank account, and I bounced, like my checks were bouncing. I had no idea what was happening, and figured out that money was missing out of my account. And so me and my friend Nancy went to the bank. Hey, Cindy, talking about my DID. I'm just going to cross that bridge now and talk about it. And, my new subscribers who weren't there in my old channel, when I talked about it then, I'm going to talk about it now. So if you have any questions, just ask. And so, yeah, I started missing money out of my account. And so I went to the bank and looked at the camera on the ATM, and guess who it was taking money out of the bank? I was, there are no words. I thought I completely lost my ever loving mind. And so that's how it started. That's how I noticed something was not right. And I started missing time, more and more time. My friend Nancy, who helped me get, through my divorce and everything, she became like a mother figure to me. She started telling me that I was acting like a little girl, like I was acting like, and they had names, and I had no idea what was happening. I was insane. It was such a terrifying time in my life. I thought maybe I had a brain tumor, an aneurysm, something possessed. I mean, I don't even believe in possession. I think I might have back then. But yeah, I mean, and so and she said they had names. There was like Shirley Ann and little Shirley, because Shirley's my given name. Like Shirley's the name that I was given and that my family call me. I changed it years ago because I just don't want to identify with those people. I don't even identify with that name. I hate it. I don't want, so I changed it. And so I where was I? So yeah, I started going. I even went to a neurologist in Ithaca. Um, and I had brain scans done. There was no tumors. There was no nothing. And this was like still like in 2002. And it just started getting worse. We would go to Walmart, and next thing I know, I'm, with people around me, and I had no idea what had happened. And apparently, a little part of me came and was hiding in the clothing rack and was screaming and for Nancy. Thank you. They're like made in. I think they're like from the 20s and 30s. Is what I think the cupboards are. And so yeah, it was terrifying. And it's hot. And then my drug use amped up. I started getting a correlation between the more drugs I do, the less it happens. They fixed it. The opiates fixed it. And the more I did, the less it happened. And it got, in the first 5 years, it was very, very, like, it happened all the time. Nancy went out and bought toys for the little one, little Shirley. I mean, it was, and then I went, started seeing a counselor, and I was diagnosed with DID. Now, it wasn't called DID when I was growing up. It was called multiple personality disorder, which, if anybody's seen the movie Sybil, I was, no way, no friggin' way do I have this. This can't be real. This can't be right. It can't. You have to be wrong. But my counselor, Carol Pollock was her name, and she diagnosed me. She said that I have it. And so there are different levels of dissociative identity disorder. And there's more people that deal with it than we even realize. So yeah. Well, so I don't know. I just, when I got to by the time I got to the heroin, it was happening less and less. Like, it didn't happen for months at a time. And I loved it. It was like I was just like a normal human being again. Even though I was an addict, I was like a normal human being again. And I when I went into recovery, it all came back. It all came back and hit me in the back of the head, and it started happening again. And the first time that I went to rehab, I didn't tell the halfway house nothing. I didn't tell them anything. I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be looked at as I was crazy. And like I said, yesterday I got thrown out. Like, when I said in the live stream, I got thrown out of there the first time. And then when I went back the second time, I knew that I had to be honest. I knew that I had to tell them about my DID. In order to get well, I needed to be honest and let them help me. And I was able to, they studied, like, when they knew I was coming back, all the staff got together and they started learning about DID so they could help me. And it was amazing, because when I went there, they were understanding, they were helpful, and it was a safe environment to be in. All the rest of the people that I was there with, we all sat down and talked about it. And so I was in There was this one girl who made fun of me. She would mock me, and, yeah, that was very hurtful. Um, because, like, even now, it's really hard because, with Bernie, he goes through so much. I have one now that his name's Stella, and she treats Bernie like a piece of shit. Um, and so when I come back, I hear about it and I feel so guilty. And um, because I love this man, I don't want any part of me to treat him badly, but my parts hate men and are untrusting. And um, yeah, he is Cindy. He is amazing. My Bernie is amazing. What he puts up with. Um, and so I know that, and I've tried to get therapy, guys. Listen, to try to find a therapist that even for one believes in DID and for another is trained in DID and in trauma is, and I live in a small town America, is almost impossible. Um, and so I'm not in therapy now because I just don't have one. I don't know if you all have seen the TV show that was, I think was on A&E, called The Many Sides of Jane. If you're not, it's on demand. You can watch it. You can watch it now on demand. But it ran last season, and it's a girl named Jane, and she puts her life out there with DID. She's got a great therapist. I think she lives out in Boise, Idaho, or something, a big city where you can get help. And here's the thing, with mental illnesses, whether it's DID, whether yeah, it was a good series. And she has a Facebook group too, um, that a couple of them that I belong to. Heart to Heart is is one of her groups. Jane Hart is another, where she posts information. And here's the thing, like the self medication. Let's go back to that. We Like, I know that I needed an escape from my mind. My mind was driving me insane. Whether it's an anxiety disorder, whether it's PTSD or depression, we need, we any escape, especially opiates, when you feel that euphoria come on you. For me, it started right in the middle of my chest, and I could feel it just fill that Grand Canyon, and it just took all of it away. It was that feeling that I was addicted to, like, just, wow, this is my answer. This is the answer to all my problems today. And it was my solution for many years. It worked. And then it got to a point where it caused more problems than it did solutions. And I think that's what we do, a lot of us. Maybe some people had great childhoods and became addicts just because maybe it's in their genes or whatever. But I gotta tell you, the majority of addicts that I've talked to have trauma in their past. I'm not saying everybody, but the majority that I've talked to have some sort of trauma in their past. A lot of us have, yeah. And we grow up lonely and just lost. The I I only had me to rely on growing up. And I had to figure out ways to cope. DID was one. Addiction was the next one. And you know, thinking that, and also as a female, thinking that if a guy had sex with me, that he loved me, and it's not the case. And I was just so hungry for love and attention and affection. Um, but yet afraid of it, you know, wanting it, needing it, but afraid of it, pushing people away, but yet needing people, needing the affection. It's such a, mental illness is such is it will drive you insane. I wanted love, but yeah, and even now to this day, it's hard to let myself be loved. It's hard to think that I deserve it, that I'm worthy of it, or even recovery. Am I worthy of recovery? Am I worthy of the good that life has for me? And part of me believes I don't deserve it. And so what do? I push people away. I hide in my little house and I don't go out. And the last time I went to my home group meeting, I left early because I was so anxious, because I was afraid people were judging me because of my weight. I've gained a lot of weight in recovery, and I'm thinking, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. It's just, and so part of my recovery is my mental health, challenging those lies. Hey, Tara. And I want to say hi to Tara and Cindy and Liz and the recovery. Hi. I'm glad you guys are here. And so big part of recovery is turning from those thoughts, not allowing those thoughts, those unhealthy lies that our brains tell us, not allowing them to overtake us. Okay, I have a thought. People are looking at me. They think I'm this or that. Nope, that's a lie, Avalon. That's a lie. Oh, you're so ugly and fat. People think you're Avalon. That's a lie. And it's what's on the inside that matters, not what's on the outside. I relied on, okay, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I relied on my prettiness to get me through a lot of my addiction. Like, I didn't look the part. And so I was able to scheme and scam and bullshit my way through my addiction. Getting money, lying to family members, lying to neighbors, lying to whoever I could lie to get money for my addiction, because I didn't look the part. I carried myself a certain way. I dressed a certain way. I went to the dentist every 6 months for a checkup, even in my addiction, because I did not want to look like a drug addict. Pride, pride, pride. And I relied on that. And so now that I've gained, because I had lost 85 pounds in my addiction, I thought I was just the cat's meow. I was hot shit. Yeah. Lost all that weight. Came back. It all came back in recovery. And so now I think I'm unacceptable. I'm ugly. I'm disgusting. All those thoughts that come in my head that logically I know is bullshit. Logically, I know that there are a lot of people in a lot worse shape than me. I should be thankful and grateful that I have my teeth. I should be thankful and grateful that I've aged well. I'm 53 years old, guys. Yeah, 53. And, I should be grateful for what I have. And so, my mental health, I have got to get control of it. And that's a thing, like in recovery, I'm very insecure. Very, very insecure. Even being intimate with my Bernie. I it it really puts a damper on things about how I feel about my body. And because I'm so wrapped up in, well, what society's view of what beauty is, a size or a weight. Um, yeah, what was it back in like the 1400s? The fatter you were, the sexier you were. I want to go back to those times. Can we? But anyway, I have a body of a goddess. One of those round bodies of a goddess. Hi, Julie. Hey, guys. I'm so glad you guys could be here. So, yeah, I mean, what do you tell yourself about yourself? Like, what do you say that's unhealthy to yourself? Those we've bought into the lies, and it's those patterns that go through our minds that sometimes we don't even realize is happening. And we've got to put a stop to that, like to that cycle. Fat, I'm ugly, nobody loves me. I'm old and ugly, and nobody loves me. I'm unworthy and nobody loves me. I'm unacceptable and nobody loves me. You know? Aw, thanks, Tara. Yeah, I had my hair dyed the other day and it turned purple. It was purple because I got the wrong color. My stylist and I, but I don't mind it. It's I don't know if you can see the purple. It kind of looks more red here, but anyway, yeah. And so if you were telling me that you felt horrible about yourself, what would I say to you? I would say, I love you just the way you are. I think you're wonderful and beautiful and worthy. But when it comes to myself, why don't I think, why don't I say that to myself? Because I'm just as worthy. We are just as worthy as anyone else. And like I was saying about the things that we've done in our addictions, the lies we told, the things that we've done to other people and to ourselves. We are not that. We are not those things that we did. And so, turning from those thoughts, turning and forgiving ourselves. Wait, I forgave myself for that. Don't you remember when you did blah, blah, blah? Wait a minute. I forgave myself for that. I am not that person anymore. I wasn't even that person then. That was the drugs. That was addiction. And I'm not that person. And so, even today, I was in such a kind of a depression because I was allowing those things to go through my head. And I was like, maybe I should cancel the live stream. And I thought, no, I'm going to do that because helping others helps me. I need to hear this stuff just like anybody else would. I need to hear that I'm acceptable, that I'm not what those people, my family said I was. I am not like being treated like you're worthless, being told you're worthless, being told you're a piece of dog shit, being told that do you guys remember that old saying, the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up with a brown stain on the mattress? Do you remember that old saying? Well, I was told that being starved. No wonder I have an eating thing. Like when I'm feeling all empty inside, I want to fill it. I want to fill it. And so I eat. And so it's an addiction, just like anything else. But it's because I feel, this emptiness. We're all beautiful, guys. We're all beautiful. We are. I mean, and beauty shouldn't even be, it's not about the outside. But oh my God, does society say it is? You know what? Listen, I get so tired of seeing celebrity like so and so. Look how badly she's aged. Look how badly she's aged. But if she And then she gets plastic surgery. Look at the horrible plastic surgery she has. Look at how you know what? A person's damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. You know, because I'm so glad I don't have money, guys. If I had money, I think I would be a plastic surgery addict. I think I would. It's a good thing that I didn't win the lottery or anything like that, because I think that I would be pulling my face back and sucking and a nipping and a tucking, you know? So, yeah, there's many addictions. Like I was watching YouTube today and there was, guys who know who Jamie Lee Curtis is? She's an opiate addict. And she was talking today about, she was the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. And if anybody knows who Janet Leigh was, she was beautiful. She was in Little Women. She was, I don't remember what else she was in. But she was beautiful. So Jamie Lee Curtis always thought that because she took more after her dad, and she didn't get the Hollywood beauty that her mother had. And so she struggled with her self-esteem, and she started taking Vicodin. She started abusing prescription medication. She would steal it out of her friends' bathroom cupboards. She admits it, and she was saying today that it filled something in her, and that, she was addicted to cigarettes. She was addicted to drugs. She was addicted to alcohol. And so there's so many addictions. We're just trying to fill that hole that's in us with anything that we can get our hands on. I don't know if what I'm saying is true, but I believe that the United States is one of the most addicted countries on the planet. Why? Why is it? I don't know, but we seem to be a very lonely, damaged bunch of people. Like, I don't know how it happened. But I know that there's healing available. There is help available. And listen, not everybody's into the AA thing or the NA thing. Not everybody's into that or the therapy thing. But you know what? If you're not into that, but there are ways that we can still help ourselves mentally. There are still ways. Like being mindful of the lies you tell yourself about yourself and how hard we are on ourselves. I'm my own worst critic. And so there are ways that we can start to change those thought patterns, those behaviors, and start changing the way we think about ourselves. I am a very judgmental person, believe it or not. I'm working on being less judgmental. But I think one of the reasons I was so judgmental on people is because I'm so judgmental on myself. Me and my cousin, when I was younger, we used to go to the mall just to sit and laugh at people as they walk by. Yeah. Yeah, who does that? Somebody that's very sick inside. That was me. And so, I mean, and like I said in the beginning of the video, that, I used to think that ADHD didn't exist. I thought it was just an excuse. I thought, it's just people don't want to discipline their children. I didn't, I was just judgmental about everything. People aren't, they don't keep their house clean. They're pieces of shit. If they, oh my gosh, you see that person? Oh, how could they? It's because of the emptiness and the garbage inside of me that I'm spewing out to the world around me. I'm so judgmental to other people. And it's because I'm so judgmental on myself. So the easier I become in myself, the less judgmental I become in myself, maybe the less judgmental I will be to the people around me. I want to show unconditional love and acceptance. I want that. Like, I want to be loved. Hey, Jason, I want to be loved and accepted for who I am. Maybe I should start trying to love and accept people for who they are. You know, like I think as we go through our life, trying to be enlightened, more loving, more kind to everybody and ourselves. I think that is, and we can achieve that. We can achieve more peace, more acceptance, more happiness. So I, you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys about something. I always had a prejudice against Asians. The things I would say. My father was in World War II. He fought against the Germans, but back in World War II, they were called Japs and Nits, and then we went to Vietnam, and so I was raised hearing those slanders, and I picked it up, and I would when I go to the doctors, I will not be seen by an Asian doctor. Why? It's got to change. I've got to change. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a prejudiced, bigoted, mean person. And I see, as I'm in recovery, going on a long time now, it's time to start changing that bullshit. It's time to start changing those things that I see in myself. Yeah, it is. I all those old slangs, the N word, the R word, retard, was commonplace growing up in my house. And I never had a problem. I never felt prejudiced against African Americans. It's just not something that stuck with me, but the Asian thing, yes. And so now I know that it is a conditioning thing. But just because I was raised that way doesn't mean I have to stay that way, because it's unacceptable. It's a I have to change my thinking, challenge it. You know what? Asians are some of the most smartest people on the freaking planet. They are just winning spelling bees, inventing all this stuff. They are brilliant and genius. And, they educate their children so much better than what we educate our children. And their governments could use a little work. Let's just put it that way. But the people themselves are very smart. I have no right to judge them. None. But I do need to change the thinking. So, well, I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh my gosh. I love this live thing. I didn't know I could ramble so long, But anyway, so yeah, aw. Hey, Kayla. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, I started talking about, the mental illness thing. I don't know if Jason, I'm going to say it because I think you talk about it on your channel. These Four Walls is Jason. He's agoraphobic, and and so am I. Like I said, I don't like to venture out of my house. I feel safe in these four walls. I feel safe. And so we're talking about mental illness and, self-medicating. And I wandered and blabbered into other things. But yeah, it's we addicts, when we take away my solution was opiates. My solution was after heroin started, everything was my solution. I became a garbage can, everything but alcohol. I'm not into alcohol. It doesn't do anything but make me tired and but so no. But everything else, crack, bath salt, meth, whatever I could get into my body is what, but it was my solution. But then it wasn't. And it made me into a person I didn't know. Very slowly. It's a very slow process. Do you guys ever notice that? It's a very slow process. That's why I say it's cunning, baffling, and powerful, because it just sticks its little toe in the door. So you don't really notice the changes and how low you're getting. You don't really notice your thinking changing. It just does. It just starts. And then before you know it, you're like, I always say, like, if I tip my toe in the pool, if I might stick my big toe in that pool, I'm at the bottom before I know it, like right now. If I were to stick my toe, but in the first beginning, it sneaks up on you, you know? And yeah, everybody, yeah. And you know what? My kids, remember like how I said yesterday in my live stream, or maybe it was with Nicole, that I used with my children. My children would tell my family that I was addicted to drugs, and they would ask me about it, and I'd be like, my kids are just lying. They're lying about me, and oh, why would they do that to me? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And they believed me for a very long time. And finally, I couldn't keep up the lie anymore. I couldn't keep up that facade anymore, because it just kept I just got so deep I couldn't keep up with it. Like I end up stealing $60 out of my mother's purse. Like she wasn't gonna notice. You know what I'm saying? Ah, because that's what I think. Oh, maybe they won't know. Maybe they don't notice. $60 missing out of their purse. Unbelievable. You did a video a long time ago speaking about pain and discussing how pain pills just weren't an option. I watched that video in my first week of sobriety and you stopped me from using. Jason, that that is awesome. See, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want my story. I want to be able to help people not to use, because it's not a solution. It's not an answer. And even if by chance you relapse and you use, you don't have to stay down there. You don't have, okay, I relapse. I'm just gonna forget it. I'm just gonna just no, get back up and try again. You don't have to stay down there in that pit, just because you make a mistake. Get up, realize what happened. Okay, what can I do to make sure that doesn't happen again? I gotta up the game. I gotta ramp it up. Okay, I relapsed. What do I do now? How do I make sure that doesn't happen? Because a lot of times, now I'm not saying every time, but a lot of times if we look back, we can see, okay, I stopped doing this. I stopped doing this. I stopped going to meetings, or I stopped reaching out to people, or I started hanging around somebody I shouldn't have been hanging around, or something like that. There's usually signs. They say you've relapsed long before you actually put that in your system. So what are we going to do now? Okay. And that's what, like, if I'm helping somebody, if I'm sponsoring somebody, okay, and they say they relapse, okay, what are we going to do now? What are you willing to do now that to make sure that this doesn't happen again? What are you willing to? Are you willing to go to any length for victory over this addiction? Any length. Any. What? Oh, well, I think I want to do it my way. I don't know about you, but my way got me in a ditch. My way got me in prostitution, thieving, stealing, lying, track marks, overdosing, doing drugs with my own kids. Name it. Name it. Name it. That's what my way did. And so when I first went into recovery, like I said, I thought that AA was, just stupid. And anyone who did it was stupid. Just, it wasn't for me. It was just dumb. It was stupid. It wasn't, I know that I don't need that. I know that. When I came back the second time, I realized that I did not know how to run my own life and that I needed to at least try something new. And for me, whether you go to meetings, whether you don't, whether you have a sponsor, whether you don't, you can still use the program to change your thinking, to change your how you view the world. What's wrong with that? Even if you don't want to do the AA program, you can still use that, because that Design for Living, it works. Whether you're totally into the program or not, be willing to try something different, because what I was doing wasn't working. And I think that I know I couldn't get myself sober and clean. Are you kidding me? I tried. Yeah, it's only because I'm versed in the program because I've been in it for 5-6 years. And so, I've been to a lot of meetings. I read the big book. So yeah, that's why. I don't mean to I don't want to drive anybody off with the AA thing. I'm totally, if you got another program that you're doing and it's keeping you clean and sober, then by all means, I'm not anyone to judge you or your recovery program. But I know for myself that I was in such a depth of despair. I had no idea how to live my life. I had no idea I was a friggin' wreck. A wreck. I had to realize I needed to give the steering wheel over to somebody and to something that knew better than me. And for me, that was the program, the 12-step program. And I start putting some of these things into practice. And here's, I don't, how I feel about Suboxone and all that stuff. I was on it. I totally think that, look at Nicole. Nicole has rocked the Suboxone program because she has used it to help her in her recovery. So how I feel about it. I'm not judging it. I think there are many paths to recovery. Absolutely. Think there are many paths to recovery. I know that for me, I needed a new way to live. I had to change everything. All my thoughts came from my childhood about myself, about the world. We have a filter in front of our eyes and we see the world through that filter. And I reacted out of my filter. Escape, run, escape, run, and run. That was my design for living, was run away as fast as you can. Numb, numb, numb. Those opiates and cocaine at one time made me feel like life was wonderful. I escaped every responsibility, every bad feeling. I didn't know how to deal with them. I didn't know how to deal with feelings. I didn't know how to deal with people. Like I said yesterday, when I was in rehab, when I was halfway off, I threw chairs, guys, like big, heavy dining room chairs. I would pick up and heave them when I got mad. That was my design for living. Anger and escape. Awesome. Mine is Avalon Decker7 at gmail.com. So if you email me and then I'll have your email address. Yeah, email me anytime. Message me, guys, anytime. I'm Avalon Ann Decker on Facebook. Go over to my Facebook and message me. Many people do. I love helping people. It helps me, like I said, because I was in a depression today. Just miserable, crying. And then I was like, I need to do this live stream. And look at me, like just helping, just like talking about it, knowing you guys are here is helping me lift me out of it. And I feel wonderful right now. I feel so good right now. And it's because I'm taking myself out of myself, out of my selfishness, out of, oh, poor me, I feel so horrible, blah, blah, and putting it out here for other people. And, that's what it's about. That's why helping others helps us, I'm feeling on top of the world right now. It's not from Kratom and it's not from anything but helping people. Yeah. Me being agoraphobic and sticking in my little house and never helping others and never coming out of my fear and doing this kind of stuff. How am I ever going to walk through that fear? How am I ever going to change if I just allow those feelings to overtake me? The most growth that's ever happened with me is me walking through fears, walking through the fear of change. I love you guys too. I love you guys too. Kayla, all you guys, like, it's awesome. I got 10 people here. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Oh, geez. So yeah, like if you find yourself feeling bad, help somebody. Yeah. Feel like you need to use or you're craving, help somebody. That's one thing I told Bernie today. And he came home on break. I'm like, I'm craving. I'm feeling like I want to use. My DID has been pretty bad lately. And so I've got alters underneath who are not happy. And so it affects me. When I'm here, I feel it. I can feel their discontent. And it really makes it hard because what do I do when I feel bad? I want to escape. And even after almost 5 years, my brain says, ooh, you know what will make you feel better. Ooh, yeah, it's still, you know what, Tara? I wish I could tell you. I don't know that it ever will. We're addicts. That's what we do. Our brains are changed. I don't know that it's ever going to go away. But what I do know, and here's the hope. Hi, Hannah. No, I'm still here. You're not too late. I've been going now for almost an hour, though. So you have to watch the playback. Here's the hope, though, is that as we do this, the longer that we're clean and the longer that we're practicing these new ways the easier it gets. I know in the beginning, it's like the cravings and stuff just drag you right down like you're drowning. And it's like, I can't get through this. And that's why the relapse rate is so high, I think, because it is the pause, post acute withdrawal syndrome is brutal. And people just get tired and they can't take it. And they need relief. The reason I know is because I did it. I would go for a little while and I would use because it just built up and built up and built up and built up and I couldn't take it another minute and I would use to release it because I had no other way. I had no coping skills. None. And so, especially when I left the halfway house the first time and I went home, I tried, guys. I mean, I would go a couple weeks without using and it would just build up and I would use. And I was friends with Bernie at that time. We weren't together. And he would call me every day and he'd say, "Are you going to the noon meeting? Are you?" He would, like, if it wasn't for him, I don't know. I don't think that I'd be here because he kept me attached to recovery and at least attached to somebody who didn't give up on me. Like, he didn't give up on me, but I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how, when that pressure built, I did not know what to do with it at all. And I had to use because that was my only coping mechanism. And so coming into recovery, and even with the Suboxone thing, guys, Bernie and I started seeing each other and we moved in with each other really quickly, which was good for me. It really helped me because in the first 2 years that I was white knuckling it, and like I said, I was doing everything right. And I decided to get on Suboxone. It was because that pressure had been building up. And I was just, for 2 years, just as miserable as a person possibly could be. Every day crying. Every day telling Bernie, I can't do this another day. I can't do this another day. I can't do this another day. Because the darkness that comes on our soul, the darkness that comes over our minds, and that horribleness that we feel inside, guys, I understand it. I get it. I know what it's like to be so fucking desperate that there is no other thing to do but use. I know that feeling. I know it. And so I don't judge anybody. Don't judge anybody. And so, since I've been doing this for almost 5 years, I'm a lot better. And it's to come on here or to take a hot shower or to, oh, am I buffering? Am I buffering? You guys see me okay? I just got a warning that my connection was a little shaky. Am I okay, guys? Okay. All right. When I would go to meetings and I would hear people talk and they would act like they had everything all together. Oh, I've been sober for 10 years or 15 years and I never think of using. I never will ever use again. And anybody that does must not be doing something right. They must be doing something wrong or not trying hard enough. And I would sit there and I would feel so hopeless because I'm sitting here thinking, how I must be doing something horribly wrong because I'm not having that experience. I am struggling and what am I doing wrong? Because I sure the hell am not having that experience. But you know what I've realized now? They're full of shit. They are full of shit. Because anybody that is a real addict or alcoholic, you think about it. You think about it every day. There's not a day goes by that you don't think about using. I don't care who you are. If you tell me that you never think of using, I'm going to look at you and say, you're full of shit. Because it was our solution. You're going to mean to tell me that and what really is funny, guys, listen to this. People that come out of rehab, not 2 weeks out of rehab, and they are cured. Oh yeah, I used to be, judgmental. I used to be, anybody that's on Suboxone, oh God, they're not really clean. Yeah, I had a spiritual awakening. And I know that, I know that I never go back. And those people that do, yes, I mean, they're not even 2 weeks out of a rehab, and they're sitting in meetings or they're making channels on YouTube on about how spiritually evolved they are now, and that anybody that takes Suboxone or methadone or kratom are all, not clean. And there's nothing that bothers me more. To be honest with you guys, the only other recoveries channels that I watch are Real Talk Recovery, These Four Walls, Her Opiate Fix, and I think that might be it. That's it. I've tried a lot of them, and I don't stick. Either because they're judgmental or there's something just not, oh, I'm just so wonderful now. Yes, I'm just so wonderful. No, I never crave. I never want to use, ever. It's all garbage. That's what I say. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to go. I've been on here an hour and 3 minutes. And you guys are awesome. Thank you for coming on here and listening to me ramble on and on about all this stuff. And pink cloud effect. Yeah. Okay, here's the difference between what I think the difference between the pink cloud effect and what I'm describing. When you first come into recovery, a lot of times you're feeling real good. People are feeling real good. They haven't felt, they're not in withdrawal anymore, and they're not, and so they're feeling really good. And they get up onto this high note, and they sit up there and it's feeling all good and it's all cloud nine, and they look down but it doesn't last. It doesn't. I don't want to come across that recovery is so horrible. I don't want to come across saying it's all hideous and horrible, guys. But I do want to say that it's hard. I don't want to come across and give recovery this bad rap that if you're in recovery, then, life is going to suck from now on type thing. I don't want to come across that way. Because it's a lot better than living in a life of active addiction. But what I am trying to tell you is that I understand the mind. I understand the darkness. I understand it all, and I've been there, and I still continue to be there. I do have a lot more better days, um, and so, when somebody's just when you're here, somebody that's on a pink cloud, try to be a little patient. Try to be understand that, okay, but real life's gonna hit soon, and you're gonna need something a lot more stable than just a good feeling to stay clean. Because that good feeling's probably gonna change. So you're gonna need something more substantial. But all right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna go live again tomorrow, probably around the same time. So tune in. Brightest blessings and Goddess bless everybody.